and Super Legends. This is our prologue. We're doing it outside. My brother's here and we're rolling.
It's time to go.
It's time to go. It is a nippy, feels like 59 degrees, which is about probably 14 Celsius. Put it on follow mode here. I love that mode now. Yeah. Got a front that came in yesterday. It just blew in. No rain, nothing. And this is unusual for me. Usually by now it stays hot. The heat comes in, it stays hot. So we're wearing arm warmers and everything. It's very unusual. The world is definitely changing. So we're doing a very long ride today. We're going to go up to Bethel Road, our old haunt. Yeah. So we're doing the prologue on the bike here this morning instead of in the studio. We're in our kit. We're in arm warmers, man. This is unusual for me. But we're dressed right, yeah. Because I would have been too cold.
On this ride, Paul and I left Northampton. We went the most direct route through the woodlands, got up to Sterling Ridge. We went to Branch Crossing, Research Forest. We took Fish Creek into Ridge Lake Shores. We didn't do a loop, we just kind of bypassed the main highway. Got on 2854 Old Conroe Road, went up to Highway 830 out to the lake. We hit a 15% climb out there. It's pretty interesting. Went across the lake. We ended the filming there for this section. Then we went into the forest on Mount Pleasant Road. Came down to 1097 back to 149, which took us into Montgomery, Texas. Once we got there, we stayed on 149 up to the Canaan Cutoff. We bypassed, went to Great Lake Estates and back on Honea Egypt Rd where we resumed filming, got back into town. Overall, it ended up being a little over 7 hours. There were sections of the ride where we really gave it a stick, and then sections of the ride where we backed off and just kind of enjoyed the day. The temperatures were mild and we had a blast. Hope you enjoy the clips.
Hello, Legends and Super Legends. We're out on 2854 headed east towards the city of Conroe. We decided to take a different route today to show you guys a really cool route.
This is a fairly busy road.
Lovely day.
But the volume is relatively low, especially this time of the morning.
Follow more.
I checked, I made sure nothing was coming, and I went ahead and gave the camera to Paul. It's very windy in the direction we're going in. The wind was blowing from the east. It was the northeast most of the day. That's why you see the temperature says 17 Celsius. It was very mild the entire day. We barely broke 20 Celsius, which is like 70 degrees in the afternoon. So right now it's about probably 59, 60. It says 18 Celsius, so that's about 65. It felt colder. When we got up, it was a lot cooler, so we put on arm warmers because we needed them. One thing we like about our Santini arm warmers, until it goes north of 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 28 Celsius, we can wear those arm warmers. They're very breathable as well as keeping you warm. They're called thermal fleece. We love the design. And the way they laid it out, we can wear them with, as you see, we're wearing the Santini arm warmers with this new Veloharmony kit. So they're very versatile. That's what Paul's showing there. It's got our logo further on the arm, but it blends with pretty much any kit. The wind has picked up here, so I'm barely doing 26 kilometers because it's going up. It says 1%. But with that wind, I didn't want to downshift, so I stood. It felt good to stand there. I'm telling Paul that our turn is up ahead. There's a utility vehicle parked on the right side of the road. The cool thing is it's parked in the grass and it's got a couple of cones on the edge of the pavement next to the grass, so we could still use the shoulder as we go by him. And it's right before our turn, the short way. We're going to be turning left and going north towards Conroe, Texas. And the wind is not letting up. Right here, there's a utility vehicle. Spotted him because he had his flashing lights on. Spotted him a while back. So I look back to see a break in the traffic. It's clear. I'll go ahead and take the lane. Probably about 30 yards up, we're going to be turning. And there's a guy pulling a horse trailer or something. So I told Paul we need to wait. This guy. And this is Old 105.
Yeah.
I ain't late for anything. I'm where I want to be.
What I told Paul was it was too close to call, and that's why I decided that we should wait till that guy went by. I don't like cutting in front of vehicles at the last minute. I said we're not late. We're where we want to be. You know, so there's no reason to take chances. That's what he's laughing at. In a little while he would say beautiful, and then I will
Beautiful.
right there.
Sapp, beautiful.
I didn't hear it. Then I said B-E-A beautiful, and I told him I got that from Bruce Almighty. I was messing with a dog that barked at me. I said, hey boy. Yeah, and then in a little while I started messing with the horses down about a few kilometers up the road. I like coming through here when we come this way. We had come here a few times with Team RR. That's how I became familiar with this route. But they don't like to deal with that 15% climb. So the last few times we've ridden around it. And this time I'm trying to remember it because I've only been there once. And so
I got to turn right here.
Got it, Mike.
we'll turn it right. Because if you stay on this road, I think it goes to the regular 105. watch the gradient on the corner. It kicks up to 4%. If you're in the wrong gear, you get gapped. In a little while, I mentioned that to Paul because when the group came here,
Right away.
we hit a 4% climb on that corner. That's what we're talking about.
We're getting that corner.
Last time we came with Team IR, when we took that corner, I was telling him but the group was gapped because people were in the wrong gear. It's a 4% climb as soon as you turn. The entire day we're out here was up and down. I mean, this Conroe has just rollers. Yeah, there's a speed limit sign on a tree by that little house we just passed. It said 25. I said it must be only through there. I know they ain't doing 25 on these roads.
Beautiful horses.
Yeah, these horses were eating. I asked them, I said, does that grass really taste that good? Are you really enjoying that? So you enjoying that grass? I mean, they're eating the grass like it's tasty, man. I'm like, I don't know. See the muscles on those guys, they don't eat meat. I don't eat a whole lot of meat myself. I like fish. Conroe, that's the city limit of Conroe. Entered. Somebody threw a mattress on the side of the road. Man, these people. They don't want to pay for trash pickup. Certain areas you have to pay for people to get your trash, especially heavy trash. Yeah, this car's pulling out. Paul told me to watch and I kept my eye on. Listen to that wind. I mean, we're battling this thing most of the way. Wind and the hills. During the ride, we were feeling it in our legs. We were both talking about you could feel just the workload, your entire leg. You know, that's the thing. When your position's right and you're pedaling correctly, you don't overuse like your calves versus your hamstring and your quads and so forth. At the end of the ride, our entire legs were tired. Not any one muscle group, all of them. And we talked about it when we got back. Your entire leg should be tired if you're pedaling correctly. It shouldn't just be your quads. Like some people complain after a hard ride they can't climb stairs. That means they're using too much quads. The front, back, everything. Your entire leg should feel the workout.
I'm having fun.
I know. I know.
Paul's having so much fun. He didn't want to give me the camera. I said, let's get you on film for a little bit.
Yeah,
he said, I'm having too much fun filming. Sightseeing.
It's easier to deal with in this manner.
One of our legends, Dee Dee, had mentioned when I was riding solo that she liked the fact that I was filming the surroundings, and so we've incorporated that. When I watch
so much attention to the camera.
When I watch our older videos, I can see the maturation of our filming.
They should make
it's clear.
A piece of document with the shipping.
Yeah, we're talking about the gimbal. It came with no paperwork. Everything we're doing with this gimbal, we had to figure it out.
Yep.
That's this is Sapp Road hitting 105 coming up.
Just makes sense though, man.
It follows whatever you do. Just follows whatever you do. You see that car? It follows you. This is where Mark turned in that time when Victor flattened. Yeah, this is Sapp Road.
Paul is riding a Velo. He says that's his most comfortable frame right now.
Okay.
On all the bikes that he has. The blade is the least comfortable because it's a very aggressive geometry setup for really fast riding per se.
Exactly where we are.
Not touring. I asked him if he knew where we were.
Yeah.
We turned into the teeth of the wind here. The wind was blowing out of the northeast. Paul starts to film me over there, and once I notice it, you'll see after a while, I would tell him, I said, man, I don't know if I want to be filmed while I'm working hard into the wind. You'll see in a little while he will hold a sideways shot really long. And I had to like tell him, man, start filming the surroundings, get that camera off of me. Listen to that wind. That wind. I think it's right here. He's sitting by on my side there, and he's got the camera pointed towards me. And I noticed after a while, I'm like, man, you need a. I don't know if I want these guys to be working this hard. That wind was pounding us. I mean, we're doing like the top of zone 2 at 23 kilometers an hour. Really? Listen to it. And you see our kit is not flapping in the wind. That's why I like the quality kit. You get them sized right, makes a big difference in your comfort. And I have my pockets loaded. Look at the food on this side here. You can see some of the gel sticking up because we're planning on being out there for at least 5 or 6 hours. I think this is somewhere here where I started to notice. I said, man, he filming me for too long. From this side anyway.
Yep.
I told her, I said, look at here. I said, I don't know if I want you filming me while I'm working this hard.
That cyclist has that wind behind him.
You see our arm warmers, those of you who are not familiar with it, look how it blends. This is for our classic kit, our throwback kit, retro. And it goes with this Rafa kit nicely. That's why we designed it that way. Mostly black, low maintenance, and versatile. We still have some in the store, on the website, for those of you who may want some. This is where I told him, I said, man, you need to get the sights. Get that camera up for me from the side. I'm fighting this wind.
I don't want them to watch me working this wind.
I don't want to watch me working this wind all day. You see how Paul's helmet matches the kit? That's red orange, so red can work with it. We're gonna be designing a refresher to our Rafa kit in the near future. We'll still keep these kits, but yeah, Paul got it blended. Paul is dressed like an Italian. The glasses, the helmet, everything matches the jersey and everything.
So basically, in this sport, it's almost like it's following whatever you do.
Yep.
So it wants to move, but it moves with you.
I'm glad we found the follow mode because we used to have problems in the wind with pan mode. The wind would disorient the camera. You'd have all these Dutch angle films.
See what we see.
So this is so much better. Listen to the wind.
It keeps the film interesting.
Yep.
That's what brought the mild temperatures. We did not exceed 22
Golf course.
Celsius all day. It was about 71 or 70 degrees, which is about
Exactly.
21 C's in the middle of the afternoon. I don't think we went any higher than that.
This is much, much better.
So Paul's talking about the follow mode being so much better than what we have been using in the past.
Right.
Ease of use. We don't have to be battling the camera while we're in the back while we're riding. Just try to adjust the camera. It's supposed to turn up there, but the traffic density had increased. So we never found enough of a gap to be able to get in the left lane. So we had to get a little creative. Riding to the intersection because there was a light there. Not really a street on the right, it's like a driveway. They put a light there.
Might as well be normal times.
Davis.
So we'll go ahead and sneak across. There's a big gap in the traffic here. That's the follow mode. Paul got that camera in his hand and probably stood up and pointed out that hole and said he saw it. And this is the introduction to this neighborhood. It's like, I think it's like 4% as soon as we enter. I said, who says Houston Flat? But this is Conroe. 4% already. It just gets there quick.
Yep.
5%, yeah. This is nice climbing. It's hit 7 on my head unit.
You won't have a problem with the water over here.
Yeah, brother, you want to have problem with water? Yeah, if this area floods, we're gonna be Atlantis at that point. I mean, it's just up, and I mean, it's just going up. We're just going. Look, it's 4% again. And you can see in the distance. I mean, you feel it. We're doing 12
How high
kilometers an
the
hour
house is.
at tempo zone. In a tempo zone.
Yep.
Look at this man. That's the driveway.
Yeah, one heck of a driveway there.
Wow.
You see some
There's
stairs.
steps to go up there.
Yeah, you gotta.
You have a couch to take up
Sure,
there.
the delivery guy. That's what Paul said. You got a couch. The delivery guy be like, shoot.
Turn it right. That's
Look
why
at
they
this.
weren't sure.
Woo-wee.
Yeah.
The first time we came through here with those guys right here, they weren't sure whether we were going left or right. We had to stop, and it was tough getting started. So we turn, and this is where it starts to bite.
This is a wall.
As soon as you turn, it's 6%. Look at the grade over the cyclist. You'll see that. It says 10% right here.
Dead legs
I
here,
saw
you're gonna
15
fall.
on my head unit.
I tell you, that was a heck of a. Gee.
I think they turned over there. That's okay. We'll take this street.
That sucker left me winded.
Apparently not winded enough because watch, he's gonna want to do it again.
Yeah. My My goodness. We gotta do that sucker again.
He just said it left him winded. I wants to do it again.
Yeah.
So I told him we need to go straight down instead of taking the turn like we did before.
Yeah. I know. Who you telling?
Look at this bad boy. Let's go straight. Wants to do it again?
Yeah. Let's do it.
I said, and I'm supposed to be crazy. Look at the speeds. Look at that. It says -9, -10. We got to like 52 kilometers an hour. That's like 32 miles an hour. I just turned in that cul-de-sac because the dead ends up there. That's a cul-de-sac up there. Paul turns here. We're gonna do it because it's longer from here. You see the camera does not do that climb justice. That thing is a wall. I have a climb in Austin called Jester. It's about this steep, but it's much longer.
Yeah. That is serious.
It's called Jester Mountain.
That's what I'm telling him about. Called Jester Mountain.
15%.
I used to live in that area. Buford.
to
Look
work.
at this. I'm gonna start
Let's do
cheating.
this.
I'm gonna start
That's what I'm
zigzagging. I figure we got a long day. I'm not gonna kill myself because he wants to do this twice. So I'm zigzagging. There's a car coming. That's that car. I move back over.
This sucker hurts.
We met one of the locals. I don't know if it shows up on camera. We told her about the climb. She waved at us. I said, "That climb's brutal." She said, "Yeah, I know. I ride it all the time."
You want to do it again? I'll wait for you right here.
Told him, "You want to do it again? I'll wait for you right here."
Totally punishment.
Oh man, that was good. That was fun. Good fun.
Now you see why that there, boy? Remember that thing?
Yep.
It's straight.
So what I was telling Paul there is that this is why
One time.
prior to this I'd been here once with Team RR. I don't think those boys look forward to coming here that
Full
often.
of China, my
This
brother.
route anyway.
That
We
sucker
usually
was
go
serious.
straight on 105. And we avoided. The last time Paul came with us, we went straight. So now that we've found it and now I got a nose for it, we're gonna visit it frequently. It's a nice change. So I tell him in a little while that I'm just gonna follow my nose because I don't really remember the route exactly, but I know where we are in relation to Highway 830 and 105.
We got nothing in the city like that.
Come here.
Paul says we don't have anything in the city. Yeah, Houston's flat. This is Conroe. So
I'm gonna follow my nose out of here, buddy.
Yep, that's okay.
that's why I tell him I'm following my
Let's
nose.
get
So
lost
we're
in
about 48 kilometers from where we live. That's about 27, 28
How we
miles.
go the back way to the lake?
So
Yeah.
that's where this place is. That's not that far. So you can ride for an hour, get out here. In a little bit, we spot this lady who happens to be a cyclist.
Hey,
She waves.
that hill back there is brutal. There's a 15% climb.
She said, "I ride it all the time." She said, "I know, I ride it all the
my
time."
She says she rides it all the time. She knows.
Brothers and sisters in arms. That's another reason we have to be representing when we're on the road,
Yeah.
because you never know who's out there. That's another cyclist. She was watching us. She knew we had come up that climb. That's the
She
only
said
way
she
in here.
rides it all the time. She knows. I said, yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
I've never seen 15% on this thing. Since I bought this head unit.
I was telling him that since moving back to Houston, I've never seen 15% on my head unit, or on this actual head unit, because it's a newer one. In
Whenever
Austin, we have
someone
quite a few of
visit-
those.
This is the route.
Some not
This
so
is the
long
one.
as Jester Mountain was like the longest one I used to ride,
Brought me here.
and I avoided it most days except for the days when I felt like doing that work.
This is the route. Okay?
Let's go straight. Yeah. Remember how
You
they
don't.
got it.
I know that Highway 830 is north and parallel to this road. And then there's a sign down there that says dead end, so that helped us with the decision anyway. And I remember that we went down a boulevard when we came with the boys that time. I came with them. I think Paul went to Waco that week.
They stopped like they were going to go left, so we slowed.
So right there is our turn. Going right, we're going to go north.
Okay, we're going to go right. I remember. This is the Boulevard.
Yeah, this is a separated boulevard layout.
Look at how beautiful this place is, guys.
This is nice.
Yeah. Look at how beautiful this place is.
It's quiet. It's always like that. Last time we came,
This is
it
why
was
we
quiet.
come to explore.
You have to have a reason to come in here because there's a golf course in this area called the Wedgewood
Nice, clean area.
Golf Course.
Quiet neighborhood.
And there's a road up here at that intersection. See that car going? That will lead us
Yep. Even
to-
right here, man, it's a 3%,
towards
my brother.
Highway 830. This is another section where it kicked up to like 3.5%.
5.7.
Paul said, I said after that walk, this feels easy. It's like you're just going up and down, up and down. See, we got a great workout Saturday.
Yeah.
So this road will take us to a road some kilometers down the road called Little Egypt Road.
Yep.
We got some cool names on the roads out here. On a road like this, you want to
can
position
tell.
yourself where you see me.
Still improving the road over here.
They're going to improve the size of the road. They're using concrete. We'll come across it further down the road. But you don't want to ride by the edge. Use the road here. If you're going to ride on a road like this, position yourself so the drivers will have to go over or into the next lane to pass you perfectly. But that's where you ride. That's what's practical. That's as far to the right as it's practical. The lane is too small to encourage them to pass in your lane. Of course, our coach, the wind, is out here. We're heading directly into the north wind that brought the cold front the day before. It's blowing northeasterly, so we're going into the teeth. It's coming directly in front of us and from the right. I moved to the left to use the smoothest pavement available. It looks like they tried to repair while they're doing their construction on the right. And quite a ways down the road, almost at the point where we decided to get off of this section, you see I stood up because it's just so bumpy. I didn't want to hit the bump while seated. There is a hole that comes up further down that I could not even warn Paul about. It wasn't that bad, but it was just something that you don't want to hit at speed. We got a little bit of shelter here, so our speeds are going up. See the trees on the right? Because I'm not working harder. We're just going faster because of the conditions. Right there, I went over that bump, came up on us pretty fast. So I told him, let's use this section once we spotted it. It's concrete. There's a guy out spinning up there. I asked him if he was okay. He said, yeah.
That's cool.
I apologize for not giving him good warning. He said it was cool, but it was like, it just came up on him.
Yeah.
There was so many things to watch on that pavement. They're doing a good job. It's going to be nice when they're done. It's between 2 to 3% on this section. I didn't want to downshift, so I just stood to get us through here. This part of the road is not open to the public, so even though we're using it, you still have to be cautious and pay attention to the workers that are there fixing the road. Because this lane is closed at this time. So, you know, if they're moving equipment or something like that, you got to watch out for that. They're trying to hold the dirt back to the right. See those screens they're putting there? They're probably going to plant vegetation to keep it from washing onto the road.
Yep.
You can see up there the road goes up again. It levels off here and it goes up. That's just sand and gravel or whatever from the dirt they've been moving. I just don't want to go through there because you don't know what else is mixed in there. But this is what the road is going to be when they're done. It's nice. There's a section on Little Egypt Road that has been repaved like this.
When it hurts, you know.
I mentioned to Paul that this guy should have downshifted because look at his cadence. He had been struggling on that section we just went through that was going up. And I'm sure he lives up here. He's just out casually riding, but a lot of recreational riders don't use their gears. And, you know, it just robs your fun. And this part, it's fine what he's doing here, but I was talking about before we got to the point where he was on a climb. And I think the second one here, you will see again, he was really struggling to get over that grade. And it's just, it was like 2% or something. We're trying to avoid all the sand and stuff from the construction on the right. Because whenever you go through sand, you don't know what else is mixed in there. I like to ride on what I can see. I'm using a very small ratio, probably 39-19 or something like that. This road kicks up here, just to be mechanically efficient. I'll go ahead and speak to him as we go by. It's gonna be nice. A beautiful little boulevard they're laying out here. This will be a nice road to train on because it's up and down. You can do some good work on a road like this. That was a little piece of rock I was pointing at it so Paul wouldn't hit it. You know, rocks, pieces of 2x4, that kind of stuff. You want to avoid that. They're not friendly to our vehicles.
Yeah.
You can see all the stuff they have packed over here because this road, this lane is not open. So if you're riding on a place like this, you have to be cautious. And then when you get to merge back into traffic, you need to check because you're not part of traffic at this point. You see the guy walking on the right there? He's at work. We're in his office.
Yeah, put it in at all costs.
Those are their work vehicles. They're cars they parked when they came to work. There's a little piece of rebar there. It just made sense to ride this here because the other lanes are so narrow. At this point, they're all paved here, but they're still not open on this side. And I didn't want to deal with that choppy pavement we're on, dodging bumps and stuff. I looked behind their cars coming and I decided to stay here. I was going to go into the main lane, but this is a four-way stop sign coming up. We're approaching the intersection here with League Line Road. All these roads, if you go west, go straight to the lake. We get through the intersection Get back into the business of riding. I loaded the pocket on the left. I've got my kit in there, and I think my phone as well. It's very heavy. Give the jersey credit because it's the featherweight or flyweight jersey, and the pockets hold well. In a few kilometers, we come to a road called Little Egypt Road, which will take us to the FM 830. We discovered pleasantly that the FM 830 has been repaved, so it's no longer chip sealed. The pavement is buttery smooth. This is Little Egypt Road. It comes up on you quickly, and when we came with those guys in the past, it would always be a late signal.
Yeah.
If you go straight
I remember.
on Longmire, it dead ends back that way. So you have to turn there. I was telling Paul, I said, this is the area where he told Mark. Is that a secret? Because Mark gave a late warning for the turn.
I remember, I got on his case.
That's what he's talking about. It's time for a snack.
Yeah. This was a heck of a route.
Paul liked the route. This had not been our original plan. We were going to do Bailey Grove when we left initially. So as we hit the road, it just dawned on me, why don't we try to do something a little different? And then I started trying to ad lib. And we discussed it, and it seemed like a good idea.
Yep.
I'm trying to get Paul to remember when we came out from the other direction, where we had waited at the base of this hill. I think Mark had a mechanic. We had waited for him. So now he's got a better idea, you know, when we came, what we did. So it kind of helps to familiarize yourself. So he pretty much knows where we are. We had waited at that corner on the right there. So I go ahead and I check. There's nothing coming left. There's a car on the right, but it's far, so I point to it so Paul can at least look at it and keep his eye on it. And we turn, and once again the road kicks up. So if we're not fighting the east wind or the northerly wind, we're dealing with the climb. So it's a good route. So I told Paul it's time for a mid-morning snack. And of course he agreed. So I'm munching on the side there. Having some granola bars. Put my trash away and resume riding. So now we're going into the north wind, and then we got the wind from the right. With these bushes, it's not so much from the right, but it's with the grade. This is kind of a false flat here. It goes up to 2.5%, sometimes 3%. It was a very pleasant day to be out on the bike. You can see it says 17 Celsius, which is just barely 64 degrees Fahrenheit.
No question about it.
We did not need to remove our arm warmers because even though it got to about 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 21 Celsius, those thermal fleece work well in that temperature range, so you don't have to yank them off. They're not hot. I don't know what technology they use, but it's very breathable.
He lives over here, right? Yeah. As far as I know, he put the hammer down.
We're talking about a guy, I think his name is Patrick, we'd ridden with from the Taco Corner. He lives in this area. At one time we came easterly from Taco Corner. He rode with us back home, and we got on 8:30, and I have it on film. And he had ridden those climbs really hard. He's very familiar with the area. That's what we're talking about. That if you live out here, you can't help but get strong on the bike. Because if you're going up and down every day, you're gonna get strong. Stronger, put it that way.
Yeah.
We're talking about our local climbs compared to these, like Flint Ridge. I was telling him that Flint Ridge is not a slouch. When you take Flint Ridge north, go across Kirkendall, and then it has a long drag to where you get up to Woodlands Parkway. So you can get a good workout close to home.
Yeah. Yep.
I was telling him that his combination with the helmet and this kit really works.
Yeah.
Because this one has red orange. When we update the kit next time, we're going with more orange than red, and we're gonna streamline it to where it's gonna be slicker. We're gonna move the chevron out of there. We've already designed it, so we've got some ideas down the road to get another updated custom kit in the future.
It's time to eat. We're taking a break for a snack. Normally in the bunch you don't get to rest, but nice thing about it, we're the bunch. So we're taking a break. Mid-morning snack.
After our short break while spinning lightly, we approach Highway 830. And so what I told Paul, I said, next time we come out here, we're gonna have to make sure we use the same route, even if we have to divert from the group and meet them at the lake. Because we don't have that many climbs like that. If you're gonna come out here, you might as well
I
do
remember
that.
here is where Greg, no, not Greg.
Doug. Yeah, Doug was waiting.
Waiting.
For,
Yeah,
exactly.
Paul was
That is
talking
exactly.
about
This
the
is
last time we
830.
came where
This is the Highway
Doug was
830
waiting
ride.
for Mark
Yep.
and Victor to get back in
I'm
because
just
they
blown away
had
by
had
this
mechanical.
road.
Victor had a
The wind
flat.
has not bothered it.
And so
Rock steady.
at this point we don't notice the road yet. This road used to be chip sealed. Highway 830, FM 830.
It's correct. Everything about it is in the right orientation. Come on.
As soon as we turn, it's clear that they've done some work out here, and the road's nice and smooth.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
I told Paul, I said, new road. This is so much better than riding on that
This is
chip
it.
seal.
Taco Corner.
We came here from Taco Corner the last time, and we were heading in the opposite direction.
Yep. Come on this side, you know you got nothing but to work.
Yep, you come out here, there's no easy way. The route we took was the most arduous way to get out here. You're either dealing with the wind or you're dealing with the undulations. And we decide to enjoy this highway. Got a nice wide shoulder now. The shoulder used to be smaller. Well, in certain sections anyway. But even though the road is nice and smooth, you see there will be certain spots where people have dropped like gravel, you know, the trucks that carry a lot of construction materials. They don't maintain that load very well. This is a slight descent. See, it says -4. Oh, yeah, it's dropping here faster. So we're doing 31, 32 miles an hour. I go ahead and just rev up my cadence. Because we plan on going through the forest. We didn't film the forest this time around, but you can't wear out your legs here while you're 56 or 57 kilometers into a 160 kilometer ride. You always have to be thinking. That's the reason for keeping my cadence up. Start to slow down, stand up a little bit, get over that little rise there slightly. And you can see in the distance that road goes up. This road goes directly into the lake. If we stay straight, it will dead end into the lake. We're going to cut through some neighborhoods and end up on 1097, which is the road that has access to a bridge to get you back into the heart of Montgomery. There's the gravel I'm talking about. The road was clear, so we use the road. You don't want to go over that at speed, just in case you have a puncture. Anytime the gear felt like it was slowing down, I was losing the impetus, I would stand up. You see those 28 millimeter tires on the rear? I got some rubber on the road. They're very comfortable. They're not expensive tires. Those are Continental Ultra Sport. Paul got me a pair of them, and I have fallen in love with them as a training tire. They've got like 180 TPI, so, you know, mid-range, you know, but I think it's one of Continental's least expensive tires, but they work really well. They make a wire bead and a foldable one. I think the one I have is foldable. I don't know if it makes that much of a difference if you're not carrying the tire around. Nowadays, the wire beads are not that hard to get on and off these rims. Almost flat here, and it starts to go up. Yeah, we can't go straight. As I said earlier, it will deaden into the lake, so we're going to turn right and cut through a subdivision that will get us to the FM 1097, which gets us across the lake. When Paul and I ride, we minimize stops. We drop our pace, we eat, we do whatever, and then we resume. So we did not stop at that store by the lake. This is a slight grade here. Ninja grade, one of our legends, let's say. Look at the flags on the left. That's the kind of wind we're dealing with all day. The sky looks beautiful. Look at that. Listen to that thing. That wind is just howling. That's the reason we had to wear arm warmers. It was nippy in the morning. The last time we came out here, we had problems with the camera. So with this mode, we didn't have any issues today. It was great. Because the wind's always out here. Yeah. Paul says, every time you turn the camera around, these guys give us a wide berth. I guess they don't want to be on film. He said every time you turn the camera around, they move over and pass with lots of room. Whatever works. He mentioned that to me. I was like, hey, that's cool. We're turning left. There are cars behind. Go ahead and signal, let them know, and take off the road. We turn, get off that drag, and we turn, and I think that car stays behind us. But we just keep riding. We're gonna go up. There is a wide turn up there. We're gonna go more. We're gonna veer right.
Yeah.
So now the wind is coming from the right in this direction here. We veer right, which is more northwesterly.
Amazing what the camera can do, my brother.
Well, he says that every time he turned the camera around, these guys would behave. Yeah, some of the drivers coming the opposite way would go way over out of their lane, literally leaving the road to encourage the cars behind us to try to pass. I don't like that they do that. So whenever they try to do that, I take up more of the road because it's safer for that car to wait than to try to squeeze by. I don't know why they do that. I wouldn't encourage anybody to come and pass in my lane if I were driving a car unless they had already started a pass. It's always quiet in this neighborhood when we come through here.
Yeah.
This is so cool with follow mode now. I mean, we've come through here a lot of times. We've done some clips, but on this journey, I mean, as I was working with the clips, I got to see so much more of some of the stuff you miss when you're actually just riding. You know, Paul's filming the surroundings easily. We're not having to deal with Dutch angles on the camera and all of that. So we're both very pleased with this mode. It's a good feature, but they didn't sell that feature. There were no instructions. It just showed up. You got to figure it out. See, See, on a descent like this, my eyes are on the cars that are parked in those driveways. That van pulls in, I give him plenty of room. Because you don't want somebody backing out in your path. I think I'm in the middle of the cluster in the back. This thing robs all the speed you gain. It says 4 or 5%. I mean, it's just up and down. So if you're gonna do a century, this is the kind of route I like to do. We have an area called Katy. They have the Katy Flatland Century they usually hold. Just doing 100 miles on flat roads, that's boring. Plus this is more scenic, so more challenging. Anything that in this direction, like Bethel, we're gonna do Bethel. When we go to Bethel or Richards, it's just as challenging. But this was a nice change. I told him we're not stopping. Something like that. So we don't need to stop. It's a major highway here, FM 1097. And it's just a stop sign.
I remember this bad boy real well.
So there's a break in the traffic. There's a car coming, so I told him to hustle. It's not close.
Yeah.
This is the tail end of the lake. This is not the main crossing. There's another tributary. If you look at the lake on the map, it's like it has fingers where the water is everywhere. It's beautiful out here. These guys had already passed us. So I don't like to go past cars that have already taken the time to pass us. So I stopped behind this car. Once we get over that hill up there, we will come upon the main bridge. It's a long bridge that covers the expanse of the lake. And that's where we do a lot of wind. There are a lot of people out fishing and just recreating.
I remember this side very well.
I was telling Paul, I said, this is another sleeper climb. He said he remembered it. It seems to be a regular flat road, and then you start feeling the drag as you ride it. It sneaks up on you. You can see the grade is gonna keep flipping up. It's one of these climbs that makes you think you don't need to shit until you get in the middle and you're like, oops, look at that. I think it gets to about 3.5% or something like that. I don't know if it shows up on the metrics up there on my head unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys go by on the motorcycles. And I end up telling Paul, I said, man, I couldn't ride that all day without earplugs. They're loud. Can damage your hearing.
Yeah. Yeah.
As we get closer to the lake, you can hear the wind. And if you look at my bandana, it's flipping up. That's why your kit has to be tight on you. Be nice, like just nice and snug. So the wind has nothing. The guy was saying hi. This is the main expanse of Lake Conroe on the northwest side here. And the lake's all over. I was telling him about all the people fishing and the wind as we approached. As soon as we got out of the back of that side, it just blew. As soon as the shelter of the tree, the little bush went away, and he started laughing. It's like it's waiting for you. Wasn't as much today because we have a lot of wind from behind.
Yeah.
The north wind was not the primary one. People on that boat fishing, people down.
Everything, my friend.
I was telling Paul, he's out there. There's some of the seagulls that standing there waiting for scraps. So with follow mode, we can get all that. That's excellent. Excellent filming. Effort is 2 out of 5 here. It's a nice view there. All those houses on the edge of the water over there. Because we had the wind behind us today from the east, it seemed like we covered the bridge quicker. We weren't fighting as much buffeting from the north as we had expected. So it was a very uneventful crossing on this ride. Because whenever we come out here, you have to lean into the wind. Look at Paul's helmet matching the kit, man. That's the Italian styling. It looks good. Glasses match the kit. We're gonna have to get some orange glasses. It was Christian who mentioned that. We need to get glasses to match the kit. I'm very picky what kind of glasses I get because you want something that sits on your face comfortably, so you're not getting smudges on the lenses and all of that. Depending on the shape of the frame and your face, you want to get something that suits the bridge of your nose. So you put the glasses on and forget you're wearing them. And not all of them sit that well, so you gotta, and they're not inexpensive, so you gotta really be selective. I'm wearing my Rudy Projects. I have gotten to really like the style. The fit is great also, the feel, everything about it. And they have extra lenses that you can swap out. So we've just crossed the lake. We got there. We got across quickly. And then we go for maybe 15 kilometers, and then we go through the forest. And here we're on.
All right, legends and super legends, we're on our favorite road, Honea Egypt Road, wrapping this up. Epic ride.
I just like this road. I don't know what it is about this road. It's not the best road we have. Not even close. But there's just something about it. I guess, how can I put it? This road is business oriented. You get on this road, you need to be ready to ride. There's no messing around here. It's just busy enough, so you can't visit, and then it's narrow, so put your head down and get on with it. They scrape the pavement here for more traction because it's slippery when wet. That's why they did that, just in that curve. Maybe they had mishaps. And generally, we have no problems on this road with drivers and everything. They're used to us being out here. There's not that much industry out here. There's a few industrial buildings that we've noticed, but it's usually fairly lightly traveled. But something about the character in either direction. You get on the road, you put your head down, and you just go. The wind's coming from the left. It's buffeting us because the east wind is the strongest on this day. A little bit from behind us. In a little while, I will move more over so Paul can get a better draft. You can hear the wind as he flips the camera. We end up using maybe half the lane. I don't know. I think I like this road because it has what some people call patina. It is well aged. Look at all the cracks and crevices. Honea Egypt Rd. I mean, that wind is just blowing. I'm still riding 2 out of 5. but we're not going as fast as we normally do in this zone. I decided to take up more of the road here. It's all cracked on the right. I checked before I did that, as you saw. It's getting more exposed in this section. This road is not going directly in any one direction. It curves around, so you're in and out of the wind. You can hear it buffeting us. I stay near the middle so Paul can at least get a little bit of shelter from that east wind. Check the traffic because I know the road here has a dip from the weight of these trucks. You see that? Because this road floods when it rains a lot. I'm surprised they haven't fixed it. It's been there for years. So, I guess there's no funding, which is fine. Maybe if they fix it, it'll get busier. I looked behind, the road is empty. I told Paul, I said, this is surprising, and the road's kind of clear because it's late in the afternoon. It's about 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. Usually that's quite a bit more traffic, but this was unusual. We don't usually ride this road this late anyway. We had not planned to go as far as we went, but when we went out, we had so much fun, we just extended the ride. And you can do the opposite. If you go out, you're not having as much fun, or you don't feel so great, shorten the ride. You live to fight another day. There's that bump on Honea Egypt that kind of puts like a finale to the ride. When you come out here, whenever you come out here, it's always on your mind. You're like, okay, I gotta save a little something. Whenever the boys come out here in the group, everybody get excited up there. There are always attacks and changes in pace. Right here, the grade starts to kick in. So that's a 1%. It gets there quickly, so you have to be ready. I think I'm riding like a 62-inch gear or something. And since we're going so slow that the wind doesn't matter, I stay by the edge of the road because we're not going that fast, so the drivers can pass easier. Up ahead on this road, they've got those reflectors, the little square reflectors they put down, which are in the way. You can't really ride close to that white line once you get near them. So I stayed to the left of them. You'll probably see them. So the road is still going up. It might be barely 1%, but that entire stretch where those cars are, you're going up. So we've already gone over the steepest part, and now you're still riding. So it's a good chunk. Those are the reflectors on the right that I'm passing, I'm talking about. And they're not placed in a perfect line. They should have been placed on the white line, but they're all over the place. They put them there to mark the end of the road, so you're in a car and you're drifting, you'll go over those things and it'll alert you to know that, hey, you need to get back in your lane. On this stretch, we're turning more easterly into that wind. I had not noticed how visible those Giro shoes are from the back, but that design has good visibility with the black and the white contrast. I stand to keep my gear rolling here. You also use the opportunity to kind of stretch and relieve your muscles, work them differently. It's almost like stretching while you're on the bike without stopping. I didn't think we were going as fast as it says. It's 35 kilometers an hour. It's about 22, 23 miles an hour because that wind was blowing. I figured we were doing 18, 30 kilometers an hour. Yeah, right here. That's about right. 18 to 20. The wind was stiff. We're almost in town here. I run the credits here, and after the credits, the epilogue will pop in. Many thanks to Paul Ilonga for excellent filming, excellent film work. It was an awesome ride and it was a lot of fun. It's not the route that matters, it's the company. We're approaching Fish Creek Boulevard here. These guys are turning left. Those guys are still stops, I checked. And we're gonna try to sneak across to make a left turn. So I'm going to look again. And I tell Paul, let's hustle over. So we get in here just a little early. This is a center turn lane, but we got in just a little early. That guy's turning left. He saw us, but this was the quickest way to get onto this little back road and spin back in town. It's late in the afternoon. The roads are a little busier than it has been the last few weeks. So it's like I missed my clip in there, so I just go ahead and push the pedal that's clipped in to get off the road. Oh man, that was good.
All she wrote.
So I hope y'all got a chance to get some K's in.
You see, the time
Keep
is
those
correct.
doctors fired.
So it was upside down before, remember?
Yeah. Now we flipped over.
Yeah, now the time is correct, but the camera's in the same position. Now that's weird.
Yeah.
Because I know that the camera symbol was on the bottom.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a reason.